Hello, level casters. Today, we will learn about a very important time in history. It was called the Cold War. This was a time of big tension between two powerful groups of countries. It was not a hot war, with a lot of fighting. Instead, it was a Cold War, because countries did not fight directly. They showed their power in other ways. The Cold War lasted for many years. It started after World War II. World War II ended in 1945. After that, new problems started. The world became divided into two main sides. One side was led by the United States. They believed in democracy. This means people vote for their leaders. They also believed in capitalism. This means people can own businesses. The other side was led by the Soviet Union. This was a very large country. It is Russia and other countries today. They believed in communism. This means the government owns everything. There are no private businesses. The government makes all decisions. These two ideas were very different. The United States and the Soviet Union became rivals. A rival is someone who tries to be better than you. They did not trust each other. Both sides wanted their ideas to be popular. They wanted other countries to follow their way. This led to many disagreements. The world was a scary place sometimes. People worried about a big war. But the Cold War stayed cold. This means no big battles between the main powers. We will learn more about this long time. It shaped the world we live in today. It was a very important part of history. Let us begin our story. The Cold War began slowly. After World War II, Europe was broken. Many cities were destroyed. People needed help. The United States offered help to many countries. This was called the Marshall Plan. The Marshall Plan gave money to rebuild Europe. It helped countries become strong again. But the Soviet Union did not like this plan. They thought it made the United States too powerful. So, the Soviet Union created its own group of countries. These countries were mostly in Eastern Europe. They were called satellite states. A satellite state is a country that is controlled by another, more powerful country. The Soviet Union controlled their governments. They controlled their economies. This created a clear line in Europe. People called this line the Iron Curtain. The Iron Curtain was not a real wall. It was a border. It divided Western Europe from Eastern Europe. People in Western Europe were free. They could travel. They could choose their leaders. People in Eastern Europe had less freedom. They could not travel easily. The government made many choices for them. Both sides wanted to be stronger than the other. They built many weapons. They built nuclear bombs. A nuclear bomb is a very powerful weapon. It can destroy a whole city. Both sides had these bombs. This made people very afraid. They called this fear mutually assured destruction. This means if one side used nuclear bombs, the other side would too. Then everyone would be destroyed. So, no one used them. This fear kept the peace. But it was a very tense peace. The two sides also tried to win friends. They tried to get other countries to join their side. They gave money and help. They sent spies to learn secrets. It was a time of great suspicion. There were many times when the Cold War almost became a hot war. One very famous event was the Cuban Missile Crisis. This happened in 1962. Cuba is an island country. It is very close to the United States. The Soviet Union put nuclear missiles in Cuba. A missile is a type of rocket that can carry a bomb. These missiles could reach American cities very fast. The United States was very worried. President John F. Kennedy was the leader of the United States. He demanded that the Soviet Union remove the missiles. For 13 days, the world held its breath. People were very scared. They thought a nuclear war would start. Ships from the United States blocked Cuba. This was called a blockade. A blockade is when you stop ships from entering or leaving a port. Soviet ships were sailing towards Cuba. Everyone waited to see what would happen. Would the Soviet ships stop? Would there be a fight? Luckily, a deal was made. The Soviet Union agreed to take the missiles out of Cuba. The United States agreed not to attack Cuba. They also secretly agreed to remove some missiles from Turkey. Turkey is a country close to the Soviet Union. This was a very dangerous moment. It showed how close the world came to a big war. After this, both sides tried to talk more. They wanted to avoid another crisis. They started to build trust. But the competition continued in other ways. They raced to go to space. They competed in sports. They tried to show their systems were better. The Cold War was like a long game of chess. Both sides made moves carefully. They tried to win without a direct fight. The Cold War finally ended in 1991. This was a very important year. The Soviet Union had many problems. Its economy was not strong. People wanted more freedom. They wanted better lives. A new leader came to power in the Soviet Union. His name was Mikhail Gorbachev. He tried to make changes. He introduced glasnost and perestroika. Glasnost means openness. People could speak more freely. They could criticize the government. Perestroika means restructuring. It was about changing the economy. He wanted to make it more like capitalism. These changes were very big. They gave people hope. But they also made the Soviet Union weaker. People in Eastern Europe saw this. They started to demand their own freedom. The Berlin Wall fell in 1989. The Berlin Wall was a real wall. It divided East and West Berlin. Its fall was a big symbol. It showed that the Soviet Union was losing control. Soon, many countries in Eastern Europe became free. They stopped being satellite states. They chose their own governments. Finally, in December 1991, the Soviet Union broke apart. It split into many independent countries. Russia was the largest. The Cold War was over. The United States was the only superpower left. A superpower is a very powerful nation. The world changed a lot. It became a different place. The fear of a big nuclear war went away. This was a very happy time for many people. The Cold War taught us many lessons. It taught us about different ideas. It taught us about power. It taught us about peace.
That was an interesting story.
Yes, the Cold War was a long time.
It started after World War II, right?
Yes, in 1945.
Two big groups were rivals.
The United States and the Soviet Union.
What was capitalism?
People own businesses.
And communism?
The government owns everything.
They built many bombs.
Yes, nuclear bombs. Very scary.
The Iron Curtain was a border.
It divided Europe.
What was the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Nuclear missiles in Cuba.
It was very dangerous.
Yes, almost a big war.
Who was Mikhail Gorbachev?
The last leader of the Soviet Union.
He made changes.
Yes, glasnost and perestroika.
The Berlin Wall fell in 1989.
That was a big moment.
The Soviet Union broke apart in 1991.
The Cold War ended then.
It was a time of big changes.
It shaped the world.
That was a great lesson.
I agree. Keep learning, Levelcasters.
Great work today. Keep practicing and see you next time on Levelcast.